Hello to everyone. I'm your host, Jimena. Welcome to my podcast. You're watching Living the Sports Business with Jimena. Today, I'm so excited to introduce you my amazing guest, Valerie Moses. She is the Senior Relationship Manager at Addition Financial. She is a two times UCF alumna. And well, hello, Valerie. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How about you?
Fine, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for being here and being willing to share your expertise and experience with us. I know that you have a blog which is called Wellness and Wanderlust. I'm gonna leave the link here so you can check it out. And also, you have been nominated for the UCF 30 Under 30 Awards on 2019. So tell us about that. Tell us about you. Tell us everything.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor, and I'm excited to share a little about me and Addition Financial and what we're doing right now in these really unprecedented times. So, a little about me. I am a UCF double knight. I went to UCF for my undergrad, graduated 2013 with my bachelor's in advertising and public relations. And during that time, I really didn't know anything about really sports business. I didn't really know that my type of career existed in a financial institution. I always thought for advertising or public relations, you either went to an agency or you went to a nonprofit. And so that's what I did in a lot of my internships. I interned for Red Cross, a couple of agencies, and at one point at UCF News. When I was getting close to graduation, CFE, Federal Credit Union at the time, was looking to hire someone to help out with our partnerships at UCF as CFE really started to build out those partnerships. And I was graduating from the university. I had been really involved in the Burnett Honors College and in some of the organizations on campus. And the Honors College linked me with, at the time, our Director of Community Engagement, now our Vice President. And 7 years later, here I am. And it's been a really incredible journey. I started to pursue my master's degree about 3 years into my time at Addition Financial and graduated again from UCF about 2 years ago. So it's been really great. Addition Financial was really supportive of that opportunity for me. And aside from that, I try to really stay involved with the university and with my own community through the UCF Alumni Association. I work a little bit with Harbor House on their Young Professionals Board. And with Horizon Scholars to help mentor high school students, which is definitely an interesting time right now as they adjust to a new type of learning. And so that's just a little bit about me, and I'm just really passionate about Central Florida and our community.
So, well, guys, to tell you about this episode is very special because it's linked to the last episode. Last episode, we've talked about sports business at UCF Athletics, at UCF Knights, and their partners and sponsorships. So in this episode, we're going to talk about sports business with one of UCF partners. So we are going to have the other point of view, and we are going to be able to complement the info we have from the last episode. So, Valerie, just please tell us about your amazing professional background, 7 years at Additional Financial. How is it like? How you have grown inside the company? How was your work there when you first started, and what do you do right now?
Absolutely. So no 2 days are alike in community engagement. And of course, right now, the community side of it is a little bit different. We used to be out at events, some of us every single day on our team. And now many of us working from home or helping out with other departments. And so it's a little bit of a different time. I started out really on a day-to-day focusing on our UCF partnerships. So to give a little bit of background, our credit union actually acquired UCF Federal Credit Union back in 2011. I started with the company in 2013, and so that was when we were really starting to build relationships on campus with especially a lot of the student groups and starting to engage with students. So my role had always been, looking for those opportunities, looking for ways that we could educate students, faculty, staff, alumni, anyone on, financial topics such as identity theft prevention, what to know about credit. We're not a financial institution that's going to give you a credit card in exchange for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
We really wanted to educate students and help them make the right decision. The thing that's the most profitable for us may not be the right decision for the student. And so really looking at their best interests and trying to help them to make the right decisions, getting our brand awareness out there a little bit, explaining what is a credit union and kind of those differences between a credit union and a bank. So that was really where my role started. But I do have a background with writing from the advertising and public relations degree, and I'm really passionate about writing. So over the years, that has evolved into my role as well. I manage our media relations and get to share stories about what the credit union is doing and try to, position some of our team as, industry experts and getting to share, a little bit of what we're doing in the community and how we're helping and some of that knowledge to help people make the right financial choices. So definitely no 2 days are alike, a lot of writing, but still trying to get into the community where I can. Right now virtually doing financial education presentations and things like that to just still be able to engage in a safe way. But it's definitely evolved over time. But it's really been a fantastic journey.
That's so cool. So in a way or another, you try to help the community, right? With this financial and career education and more. So what's the link between Addition Financial and sports? Why did you pick that? Like, why investing in sports?
Well, to give a little bit of background with Addition Financial, we were actually founded in 1937 by a group of teachers. So our background had always been education. We were Orange County Teachers Federal Credit Union, then Central Florida Educators, CFE, and now Addition Financial. Over time, we've expanded to serve anyone that lives in our 22 counties, works, attends school, worships, volunteers, whatever the case may be, but in those 22 counties. And so we're really more community than just education, but we still have a very, very strong focus on education. And so partnering with local school districts, the university, higher education, has really just been an important part of our heritage. And sports goes hand in hand with education. You learn so many valuable skills on and off the field. I was a high school athlete, and a lot of what I learned in that experience really has helped me in my career as far as public speaking and even just getting up and, in front of a crowd or, event management. A lot of what I've learned and the leadership that I've taken with me has come from the sports that I participated in. And so we see value in that. We see value in the UCF Knights. They're a great brand. We're really proud to be aligned with UCF athletics. And for me personally, it's really a pleasure to get to stay connected with my alma mater. But we really see value there, and we're able to continue that education with this partnership. We do some of those financial education workshops for the staff, as well as for the student athletes. Yeah, so it definitely goes hand in hand.
So working with all of this and working with your company and UCF Athletics too. So what is the best part of your job about working hand to hand with the sports industry with UCF Athletics?
Oh my goodness. I would say, working with a company that has such a strong focus on the community and really investing in the future of our community. I think our future really, it comes from education and the youth that we invest in. And so working for a company that I really believe in, that supports those types of initiatives, that supports the educators, that helps people make informed decisions. So we like to say that we were always the credit union for educators. We've evolved to become the credit union that educates.
Wow.
I'm personally a member, and I've found that I have learned a lot just by, being at the credit union. I don't have a financial background from before my time here.
Mhm.
And, our focus is truly on educating our members and our community and helping them make the right decisions for them. And, that's not going to be a one size fits all. And so that's something that really makes me, believe in the company I serve, and getting to see them, and us do some really incredible things. And, getting to work with incredible partners like UCF and UCF Athletics has definitely been a wonderful experience.
Yeah, and for you that you are a PR mostly, so you have to believe in what you are sharing, right?
Absolutely. And, that's number one for me is, you never, you don't want to sell a product you don't believe in. And I'm really fortunate that, I look at our college student, we call them our Aspire accounts. And if I had been, if I were in school now, this is the type of product I would want to have as far as my checking account goes. I am a member of the credit union, and so I can speak to the experience of being a member and what I've the experiences I've had with the different products and with going into branches that may not know me as an employee. And, I can really speak positively to it. And so it's great to work for a company you really believe in and to have products that you really believe in as well.
That's so good. I'm glad that you're working in something that you're so passionate and you believe in. So, you've talked about UCF having the same values as Addition Financial. So, when you partner with someone, you look for the same brand values, for the same traits, and the same target that you want to reach, right? So, what have you seen in UCF to decide to sponsor it?
Well, UCF in general, we have a longstanding partnership with and relationship with because of our merger with UCF Federal Credit Union. And so that was a really, logical, partnership for us. That acquisition took place a couple of years before I came on board, but UCF Federal Credit Union had been around since the 1970s, and we still have employees with Addition Financial that came over from UCF Federal Credit Union. So we have been on the UCF campus for a long time, really engaging with our partners there and getting to know people there. So that has always been, I think, really um, valuable to us. Addition Financial was founded by Orange County teachers.
Yeah.
So working with the school districts, working with the community colleges, state colleges in town, and then working with UCF, they all are so synergistic with each other. They work very well together. So it really was a logical, I think, next step for us. And working with UCF Athletics has really been a great experience. We began partnering with them officially in 2013, just a couple of months after I started. And so that was really exciting as well. We had just signed our naming rights partnership with the arena, and then the athletics partnership shortly after. And I joked that I was going to need to go to law school after that, with all of the contracts coming in. But it was really incredible, and getting to really solidify our presence on campus, and just being able to educate students in different ways. We get to engage with the student athletes, and even, we offer a UCF co-branded debit card where
Yeah.
every time you swipe, we make a donation back to the university, to UCF Athletics. And so we're also through this partnership, we're able to offer something that so many of our community members, whether or not they attended the university, UCF is Orlando's hometown team, and Stanford's hometown team, and everywhere in Central Florida. And so getting to align so closely with a brand that people really love and believe in and are rooting for is really, I think, great for us. And I think it's really just mutually beneficial.
Yes, it's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
So, you've talked about Addition Financial Arena. which is the home of UCF men's and women basketball team and also volleyball team. So how does this work? How, in respecting to the management, to the ticketing, how's the business here?
Yeah, so everything with the Edition Financial Arena, that is managed by the university and by a company called Spectra. They handle all of the operations, ticketing. We do work very closely with them, and my department has the pleasure of working alongside them. So anytime they need logos, we've worked with them. On brand standards, especially, as I kind of had mentioned before, we were originally CFE Federal Credit Union in the CFE arena. And so as we were rebranding and creating our new Edition Financial brand, really focusing on, sharing those brand standards as we really solidified those so that they would then, know how to use our logo, and we would really be working together in that process. But we do work very closely together and have a good relationship with Spectra and with UCF as well.
And so if someone wants to contract the arena for a concert, can they do it?
The arena does have concerts and comedy shows, and a lot of different types of shows take place there. They had one of my favorites was I think 2014 or 2015. They had Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, and she was doing readings in the room, and it was such a cool experience getting to be there. It wasn't the typical type of thing I would go to attend. Usually it is a basketball game or maybe a concert, but that was really, really fun. And they've brought in some really great acts. They've had, Amy Schumer. We went to the Fun concert a few years ago. I think they had Kendrick Lamar a few years ago. They bring in some really great acts, and people really have a great time. And so it's fun to have our name associated.
So with these concerts and shows that you have inside, so who handles that? UCF or you have a special department?
I believe that's through Spectra. So we don't have any actual involvement with, who comes out for concerts or any of that. Our involvement is more, from a branding standpoint.
Yes.
So we get that brand awareness, our logo, things like that. And and I'm sure we can talk a little bit more about with the rebranding, but even down to the garbage cans that have the logos on them, and making sure that everything is properly labeled, and it's really great brand exposure for sure.
The Addition Financial Arena was before of being Addition Financial Arena was CFE Arena, right? So it changed in May 2019. So what have you done to get the name inside the consumer's mind? What was your work to rebrand this arena?
Absolutely. So we rebranded ourselves as well on May 1st of 2019 as CFE Federal Credit Union. It was a little bit of a misleading name for us, Central Florida Educators, because we were no longer just for educators. We still wanted to have that tie to education, which is why we have the Edition and the A+.
Oh.
That's one of the levels that, as a math term, but then we also use it, to talk about adding value to our members and things like that. But having said that, we were also changing our charter, which, long story short, basically means we were going to need to remove federal from our name. So we already knew that there were going to need to be some changes. And so when we decided to rebrand, we, of course, knew that we needed to rebrand with the arena as well. We made sure to communicate that through press release. We, spoke with media about that. We also, we worked very closely with the arena, with their staff, to ensure that, everything changed over from the logos on the jackets to, those garbage can decals, and then of course the signage on the building. We work with a lot of student groups on campus. And so, for example, we were sponsoring the UCF College of Business Ambassador program. And those students go out into the university and they serve as those ambassadors from the college to the students. And so we would share with them, and through other events on campus, we would share updates of what was going on. I spoke at an event at the College of Business, for example, with a group of it was about 150 students, and just sharing, what a rebrand really consisted of for us, any challenges, surprises, and where we were at and what was going to happen with the arena. And that was definitely, a major question that we would get. One of the great things with that rebrand was that, for the arena itself, arenas and stadiums, they change naming rights, they have experience with that. And the CFE arena had changed from the UCF arena about 5 years, I want to say, prior. So they had that experience, and they knew exactly what inventory needed to change. And their expertise was really beneficial for us. They were so prepared and knew exactly what needed to change. And so they were really incredible to work with. And then they did a lot on their social media as well to kind of amp up to the name change.
So you told us about their debit cards, and also you have games discounts. So what else have you done, like actions or activations with UCF Athletics to put your sponsor working, right? Because it's not only about having the naming right or sponsor someone, you have to activate it, for your brand to get other people. So what have you done with that?
So we have great partnership with our friends in at UCF Athletics. And so in addition to static signs and digital signs and things like that, we go out and activate at the games at the student gates for every football game at home. In previous years, of course, I know this could look a little bit different this year, but we would table at the student gate every single home game. We would give out UCF branded, UCF and Addition Financial co-branded items to help them cheer on the Knights. So we had little crowns. We would give out rally towels and a lot of fun items to get them excited, something they might keep in their dorm room or in their office or what have you. And so getting our face out there, we would have on-field promotions that athletics would usually help us. They might have a game or a contest or something taking place on field. And so, sponsored by Addition Financial. We had one contest where if during basketball season on the Jumbotron, where there would be a couple of piggy banks and they had to guess how much money was in the piggy bank and text a certain number, and it was sponsored by us. And I think it was called Text the Piggy. And it was one of our favorites. And then down to, baseball, we would do a little bit of activation. Sometimes our CEO or someone from the team would get to throw the first pitch at one of the games, usually opening night. And for football, we have one game entitlement every year where we get a little bit more involvement. And so in addition to our spot at the student gate, we would also have a spot in Iowa Plaza, basically the area right in front of the stadium, where we could talk to fans. We might have information about our debit cards, but also giving out, more of that swag so that people could really enjoy and get excited. Our CEO or one of our team members would also be interviewed at halftime for Mark Daniels for his show. So it was a really cool, it was always a fun game. And then we would have a few representatives go out on field for the game ball presentation. And that is a blast. I got to do it for the last maybe 3 years. And every single year, even though I've done it, even though I've had the experience, I am grinning like a little kid. And they all have to, they're like, "You're excited, aren't you?" I'm like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As a double night, I'm very excited to get to do anything UCF. And so that has been one of the coolest opportunities, just, getting to be out on the field with the players and see them, get that touchdown that we always say that we're lucky because, or we're a good luck charm because someone will always get a touchdown when we're down there. So if they don't, we'll stay down there until they do.
So you, besides like putting just a brand, you are involved in the in the experience of the game. And so when the UCF students go, or other people that go to see the game, they just remember the good experience that they have had, and they remember your brand and have more engagement with them and with you. So it's amazing.
Absolutely. And it's really great to get to partner with such a, well-regarded brand in our community, and something that people really identify with. I know I mean, I get emotional about my experience at UCF and the positive times I had. And I still remember, watching certain games, and there was, there was the unforgettable Hail Mary at the end of, I can't remember which game, in 2014. And to be aligned with the brand that people really care about is, I think that's really great for us.
Yes, it's all about the experience that you give to the consumer. So, and being aligned to that and being remembered about that, it's so special, and it gives you a higher level of engagement with them. So
Absolutely.
good. So, with COVID right now, how Addition Financial has changed their sponsoring strategies? Like, what have you done different? More digital?
We're seeing a lot more digital, and so with our activation with UCF athletics, for example, a lot of the spring sports didn't go as planned, and so we were more of the sponsor for certain social media pushes that they did in contests like that. And I'm always in awe of all of the really creative ways that UCF athletics and other groups are finding to to activate and to engage with fans and to engage with their groups. So it definitely is a lot more digital. We also used to come out for example, with the UCF athletics staff, we would come out and do we'd call it a brunch and learn, and talk to them about, first time home buying, budgeting, credit, different financial topics. Well, we ended up doing that on Microsoft Teams a few months ago, and the topic changed a little bit. We ended up talking about your stimulus check and, how to rework your budget during a pandemic or during like an unforeseen circumstance. And so, nothing replaces in person, and we definitely are looking forward to getting back into the community. But our department, as a group that really does go out into the community often, for the most part is sticking to digital and helping out in other ways to work with partners. I think we've attended maybe one in-person event with one of our school district partners, but our team is always wearing masks, face shields, I think gloves. So we're very serious about our safety, and some opportunities, if we aren't able to have a presence now, we might share a video, or we might share a link to a special landing page about about our product or about our partnership. And so it's definitely looking different, and we're having to look at things in creative ways. But I think that this time there still are opportunities to engage and to give back.
Yes. But with the sports partnership, you reach your target in a whole different way. Like we have talked about this experience and everything. So with this pandemic, have you valued more this, like having this engagement, this partnership, these games?
Absolutely. I personally, I don't know when I'll be back at a sporting event, and that makes me sad. I love the excitement. I love getting to cheer on my team, and watching on TV is great, or having some of these online experiences. I think it's really fantastic, and it brings some light in a difficult time for so many. So I'm glad those options are available and that we have all this technology.
Yes.
But of course, that in-person experience, I will be very excited to go back to a game someday, and get to cheer on my Knights in person and to cheer on other teams as well. So I certainly do miss it.
Yes.
Um, but I am very thankful for the alternate opportunities that are out there as well.
Yes, thank you for the technology.
Yes.
So, talking about your, like, what you do relationships, right, with your partners. So, how is the relationship with your sponsorees? Like, how is your relationship with UCF? How do you communicate? How do you work together? Tell us about the importance of keeping this relationship.
Well, to me, I truly believe, and maybe I'm biased being in community engagement, but I truly believe relationships are everything. And your network is more than just your network. We talk a lot about networking, and when I was a student, I always thought of networking in terms of, we shake hands at a business function, we exchange business cards, and we go about our way. And it's not like that. And, truly getting to know your partners and working together on different projects and being able to reach out and even just checking in and making sure that everyone is doing well. In this time, we've continued to keep in touch mainly through email. But some of our partners on campus as well, we may do Zoom calls or, some of these other technological, platforms as well. But making sure we're keeping those relationships top of mind. Your relationships are everything. If it weren't for the relationships I'd had on campus 7 years ago, I don't think I would have known about the job I have today. And so really making sure we stay in touch with our partners and we stay aware of the changing situations right now. And then looking for creative ways that, if we can't be there in person, what are some things that we can do to still engage or to still, get our brand out there. But those relationships are extremely, extremely important. And we're happy to have UCF Athletics and many of our other partners as well.
Yes. So, do you get together with them and work in idea to, for example, do an activation, or how is this dynamic?
It differs by partnership, and with UCF Athletics, again, it's been a little bit different now, but we always we'll meet with them at the beginning of a new the new year, and we'll go over what's to come with the different sports, what has changed. Talk about what has worked in the past as far as our activation and maybe what hasn't. Do they have ideas for a promotion that they're going to be doing that makes sense for us to be aligned with? We work together even with a lot of our advertisements because we have rights to use Nitro and to use the UCF logos. We like to work with them and make sure that our ads are really in line with the image that they're going with. And so, for example, we create a planner every year for the new school year, and we get a UCF Athletics football page in there, and so we want them to design it and really have the feel for that season. And we've worked with them in the past where I think they designed our cover a couple of years to really look like something that
That
you
will
know that's in line with what they're doing. And yeah, and so we definitely keep a close communication with them. And of course, there are always going to be those one-off emails. A new opportunity has come up. Are you interested? So we have, the partnership activation team that we work very closely with, and then we do work a little bit with their human resources team as new athletics coaches and employees, support staff come in. We can offer something special for them if they're interested in joining. We can do those presentations. And then for the student athletes, we've done, some workshops for them, and we'll meet sometimes with their staff and talk about even any career events they're doing. So I've done mock interviews with student athletes before to get them prepared for their career outside of what they're currently doing. And so we used to do a lot more in-person meetings and lunches and get together, and now it's looking a lot different, but we're still keeping that line of communication open, just in a different way.
And that's right. It's a win-win always, right?
Absolutely.
That's so cool. So, with COVID right now and what is happening, the pandemic and everything, how do you think partnerships between different industries and sports are going to continue?
I think, I think they're going to have to be creative. It's definitely looking a lot different now, but I think that it will continue. I think it is going to be a lot more digital. We're going to see a lot more on social as well. I think social media is an untapped resource sometimes. And I think these activation teams are just very creative with some of the ideas they've come up with. And so I think it will be digital for a while. And um, I had listened to Dan's interview as well, and I agree. I could see some of the sponsorship tiers maybe being a little bit different, where they may, with budgets, or with the opportunities available at that time, it may just be a lower sponsorship level for a little while, and then they're able to, expand that as sports kind of go back to normal, whatever that may look like in the future, if it's a new normal. But I think definitely we'll see a lot more digital and social than we have before.
And creation, a lot of creation.
Yeah.
Have you talked about the adjustments in inside Addition financial arena, like how or what are going to be the new measures and the new measurements, and I don't know what's going to be like the safety rules or norms for the people who can go inside the arena?
Yeah, we have not, as a credit union, been a part of the conversations as far as as far as the arena goes, more from the operational standpoint. But I'll be interested to see, and what changes as far as these large scale events. I have been pretty much socially distanced since March, but I attended one social distancing event in person um, a few weeks ago through Creative City Project, and it was very creative the way they did it. But you had your temperature checked on the way in. Um, you had an 8 by 8 foot space to yourself. Yeah, and hand sanitizer at the front. If you needed to leave the building to go get something, you needed to have your temperature checked when you came back in. So it was very strict with the way they handled it, but I felt safe, and I feel like there will need to be some kind of transition at some point. I did see that the arena actually had a virtual concert at one point. So I'm curious if that's something that we'll be seeing as a trend for a little while, because I don't see concerts of that large of a scale coming back for a little while, at least until 2021. But I think we're going to see a lot of creative things. And I think there will have to be some kind of transition point in there until there's a vaccine, if there will be a vaccine, and how readily available it is. So it's definitely going to be interesting, but I would imagine, I think everywhere there are going to be more hand sanitizer stations than people, just to, make sure that everything is safe. We've installed those freestanding hand sanitizers in all of our branches as well, to make sure, people feel safe. We've always had them at the teller line, but making sure we have more available. And then I don't know if there will be that transition point where people are still maybe wearing masks to those events. UCF lecture halls for in-person classes have been, marking off and blocking off which seats you can sit in for some of those 300 person classes. And so will we see something like that? And so it'll definitely be interesting, and I think again we'll have to see a lot of creativity from that industry. I do not envy them for for everything that we'll need to kind of adjust at this time, or will we wait until everything can go 100% back to normal? But I do think that there will be, I would like to see, I think there will be more hand sanitizer, more cleanliness, everybody's practices, even, businesses, everybody has kept things pretty clean, but everybody's practices have, gotten even more so. And so I'll be curious to see how that goes forth.
You're gonna keep safety first.
Absolutely.
Okay, Valerie, so thank you very much for this interview. I really enjoy it. Thank you for being here and for sharing all of this. It was really good to compare and to see that you have a lot of the same ideas and thoughts that Dan had too. So you are very aligned, and you can see that you work really well together. So it's so cool. And
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you for everything. Thank you, you guys, for watching us. So go team.
Thank you so much. Go Knights and charge on.